Duduzane has the reach, he has the resources, he has the network. Why would you not want to use them? And he's not coming with a negative attitude that, I don't want to work with this party or that party, or I'm fighting with this one. No, this is about the country. Let's just focus on the country. It's us who sabotage ourselves. South Africans go and say, don't go to South Africa. The crime is bad. You understand?
That's your country.
That's your country.
You want investors to come. You want tourists to come.
How are you going to do that? Because South Africans say, don't do that. They are killing farmers. You understand? Yeah. South Africans do that.
Hi guys, welcome to Mr. Simon Show. Today we have an honor. I'm joined by one of the men that I love, that I adore. His name is Winston. Entrepreneur, a father, a very good man. How are you, my brother?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Good.
There's a lot to say about you, sir. But growing up in KZN, what are some of the dreams that you had as a child?
I think growing up in KZN, Newlands East to be exact, you had dreams other young men had, that you'd be successful, you'd, live a comfortable life, drive a nice car, general dreams that young people have, You don't have a plan of how to achieve it, but this is just what you dream about.
So you never had, besides wanting to live a decent life, have nice cars, every young person has that dream. You never had a specific thing to say, maybe I want to be a doctor?
No, I was a boxer at the time. So I was a boxer from 6 years old, and I was going to be this boxing champion in my mind, and that's what I was going to do.
Saying, I know that you are a professional retired boxer.
Yeah.
But saying that you were a boxer at the age of 6, are you saying that you were doing professional boxing or you were involved in fighting a lot?
No, I was a boxer. So amateur boxing starts from very young. If you're serious about being up there in terms of contention for, South African ratings. So from 6 years old, my dad would take me to the gym every day. Yeah. So it was a serious commitment. It wasn't a wishy-washy type of situation. So by the time I was a teenager, I was very good at it, So that was my focus. So I think in my father's mind, it kept me off the street. It kept me away from bad elements. It kept me away from alcohol, drugs. So I think it played a dual role in terms of giving me a career choice and keeping me away from bad elements, elements in the street. And
saying that it kept you from drugs, alcohol, and a whole lot of things. You know how South Africa perceive colored community, right?
Yes.
Was he afraid that growing up in colored community you will get corrupted, maybe by young people around your surrounding, or maybe family, friends?
I think one of the main reasons was that I had asthma, and I was a very timid young man, So he thought maybe this son's going to be a bit soft. He's always complaining he's sick. Let me toughen him up.
Yeah. Did you heal from it?
Yeah, I grew out of my asthma because also training intensely. So, as you're growing out of the asthma and you're fit. So I think, it just moved me completely of that trajectory. And till this day, I've never drank, I've never had any alcohol. I've never tried any drugs. I've never smoked a cigarette. I've never been drunk. I've never completed a drink or a drinking binge or going out,
Whenever like you were winning fights as a professional fighter, right? How were you celebrating if you're not drinking, you were not smoking, no cigars, no whiskey?
You don't miss what you don't know. So I don't even know alcohol to be a celebratory drink because I never ever drank.
Yes.
So if you would win, you'd be excited like anything else, like passing at school or anything that you achieved. You'd just be excited and be happy. Go to the movies, go out for dinners with your friends, even going to a club. I went to a club, but I never ever drank in a club. I would drink a Coke. That was it,
A few weeks ago, if it wasn't yesterday, I saw a post on your IG saying Muhammad Ali said. Was that he said to you directly? And if he did, what did exactly he say? I want to hear from you.
I think I was a bit, I exaggerated a bit. It was a tournament we had won and we were selected to go meet him, And yes, I wasn't the only one he said flattery things to. So,
When?
I think he had come to Chesterville and we had won tournaments and Muhammad Ali was doing, I think, a bit of a social responsibility, uplifting, greeting young champs. And I was one in and amongst others who you were saying flattery things to, as a young man, keep it up. You're the champ, you're great. So,
At what age was that?
That was about 11 years old,
Yeah.
12 years old,
Yeah. By then, did you understand his name?
Yes, because now at that point, I'd been boxing for 6 years already. So by now you have your heroes, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, so.
And how was the feeling being had those ways?
Yeah, it was a great feeling. I mean, an icon of his stature, it was awesome.
And you, 11 years old, you grew up, you became one yourself.
Yes.
And were those words always ringing in your mind to say, I'm the greatest?
Absolutely. Look, you can't achieve anything if you don't believe in it, right? I think self-belief is the first thing. You can't sell me anything. You can't present anything if you don't believe it yourself. So I think it definitely went a long way in seeing the person you see today, just from, the belief that being expressed by him and others, I always say the responsibility of belief or someone believing in you, it puts a responsibility for you to perform, for you to achieve. So that's why, having present parents is such a big thing in a youngster's life, because those parents instill values and they believe in you, and that puts a responsibility on you.
Growing up in colored community, being a professional boxer, earning money, a good decent amount. What was this one thing that always rang whenever you got your fat check to say, this is what I want to do for my family?
I won't say that boxing had given me fat checks yet, and if you look retrospectively now, you think, geez,
but it was a lot by then to you.
Yes, So I was always a mommy's boy, so the idea was always take money home and give to your mom, and she'd, sort out the family. So that was always the idea, like, let's go help my mother, So yeah.
The reason why I'm saying like fat check, you had like sponsors endorsement, right?
Yes, yeah.
And if you don't mind, I don't mind. If you don't mind, you can mention some of them.
It was like Powerhouse, King Kong at the time, there were those. If you think of all the old boxing endorsements, it was a long time ago, but it was like Powerhouse, King Kong. Those are the two of the main. Powerhouse was apparel. It was clothing, sneakers, but they also gave you nutrition
and cash. Like, if you don't mind, how much was it a month combined from all the sponsors that you were earning?
I don't even remember, but maybe like 5,000. So it wasn't like big money. It was.
But you had like a great cow, was a Mustang, right? At that time.
No, at that time I had a Jetta.
Yes, like a VW.
Yeah. But obviously nice. So you're loving yourself as a young man. Remember, this is what, you're 21, 22. You're a kid, essentially.
When the sports car life comes into play.
That actually comes into play from the business world.
The money that you were getting from boxing, you invested in businesses?
Not at all. Lost all that. Just spent it because you didn't have, guys like to make the life of business a fairy tale. It's not. In business, I always say, fail fast. The more you fail, is the more you learn of what not to do and how to reconfigure. A person who's failed has more in terms of knowledge because he's tried more things than the person who gets it right first time. Because you can get it right first time, but once that doesn't work, you're out. But the guy who's failed and then gets it right, after he gets it right, and let's say that fails, firstly, he knows how to deal with failure. He knows how to deal with adversity. And he knows other ways, like, okay, let me try this way again. Maybe it didn't work that time, but it'll work now, So it's not a straight line. So I got injured in my boxing career. That took me out. Now I had to figure out how I'm going to sustain my life and how I'm going to. Then I got a job in a call center. Worked in a call center. Then said, no, this is not going to sustain me. Then started doing business. And in business, you fail, then you succeed. And then you see what real money is, because now you're older, the opportunities are better, So you're able to do now more things. But for sport to get you to the highest heights and make real money, that happens for such a few. And also, when it does, it happens for such a short time. And then you
the new players in the game.
You understand? So the actual blessing was that I didn't make that kind of money in sport because I feel like
You could have relaxed.
it would have crippled me. Yeah. By 28, I was injured. I was out of boxing. I had to figure out how to earn a living. And that's how I got into business. Now, business is an economy of scale model. You do something and you might make little bits, but you make lots of little bits and it adds up. And before you know it, you're making 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 10 million. That's just how business works because it scales up really quickly once the formula works. And that's been my experience. So with the boxing, it wasn't making. You might have felt like you have more disposable income because it was another time. A rand went a long way then, and you didn't have responsibilities as a young person, so your disposable income was more. You made 10,000 rand, 15, 20,000 rand. You were like, yo, I'm rich. Yeah.
I'm doing well.
Yeah,
And now it goes go to your traveling allowance.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So
you spoke of injury. How long were you injured?
first injury, I had a broken pelvis and 2 fractured ribs and a punctured lung. So to rehab a pelvis takes a long time. It takes a long time to get strong enough. And then you gotta fight your way back up in the ratings. Because you drop to 100 and something, then you have to go again. Now you're number 80 fighting, number 60, and you drop, then you're back to number 1. Then I got shot through my chest. Then I was out. Then you rehab yourself again, but you're saying, hey, no, man, my age, I have to figure it out. So those are in a snapshot. The 3 big injuries I had was a pelvis and a punctured lung. Then I was fighting and I broke my shoulder. And then when I went to the shoulder surgery, a nerve got pinched. Something went wrong and I pinched a nerve. So I was battling to hold a glass. So that rehab took long. Then I got better from that, started fighting and then I got shot. So, there's always been these trials and tribulations. So that's why I always say to young people when I talk to them, is if you don't know how to deal with adversity, that's the beginning of your problem, because you've got to know how to deal with disappointment. You've got to know how to push back against resistance. And like I was saying, and I've said before, you've got to appreciate the privilege of struggle because that will define your entire life, will define what success is. Because you're only successful in relation to your struggle and your situation, where you come from. You only appreciate day because you know night. You only appreciate the sun because you know rain. So you only can say you're successful in relation to your past. If you were born rich, you never meet a trust fund kid saying, I'm successful. Successful in relation to what?
What did you build?
What did you do? What did you build? Your dad left you, so you're successful in relation to where you come from. And I think that is what people would call the mark of success. So without that, you robbed of the privilege of actually, doing something. That's why people give let's use Donald Trump as an example. They give Donald Trump a hard time because they say your dad was rich and he gave you a loan of $1 million, and $1 million in 1970 was a lot of money, you see? So people sort of push back because he came from a privileged background. But you'll find that even though he had $1 million, he's achieved a lot, but it gets negated because people want to measure it against poverty, struggle, per se, you know.
So, right now, as we're sitting here, you have built a very big empire worth, according to research online. If it's more, you can tell me. According to research online, it says it's worth 200 million US dollar. Your petroleum business.
I think you exaggerate. No, it's not anywhere near that. That's number one. Number two is I don't think my success is measured on that. What my success is, how many people have you empowered? How many social responsibility projects have you taken on? Are you able to help people around you that you care about? Are you able to feed your family? And are you able to have the freedom to at least travel, you know? So for me, that's the mark of success. I think the amount is semantics, because if someone says I'm worth this, or someone says I'm worth that, it doesn't really make a huge impact in society. What you do with your resources is what impacts society. How you help with your resources and it's what impacts society. And also understand that in business, every day is not the same. You have good years in business and you have challenging years in business. You have to take on the challenge of growing a business, understanding that. You know, in boxing, we used to say there's some fighters who only know how to hit. You say, what do you mean you only know how to hit? He's only winning if he's hitting you. As you hit back, he starts losing. Because he's not conditioned to the struggle of a fight back. He's very strong. Yes, he's very strong. So everyone he hits usually falls down. Everyone he hits usually retreats. Now, the secret to life is your true character shows when life hits back, when there's that pushback, when there's those challenges. You know, one of my best friends, Duduzane Zuma, if you look at Duduzane's story, it epitomizes for me what resilience is, what focus is, what humility is, what bravery is. The guy gets attacked from all angles at a relatively young age and goes through all these challenges with a smile.
With politeness.
With humility, with authenticity, with bravery. You never see Duduzane saying, oh, it's so bad when he's hitting his hands. So I think that is, for me, the mark of someone who should be admired, the mark of someone who should be emulated. You know, it's not about, oh, Duduzane's achieved this or he's made so much money. It's not defined by that. You are defined by how you deal with adversity. You know.
I know one of the garages that you in your company supply fuel to is Shell.
No, we actually buy from Shell. So how it works is the majors. You buy from the majors and you're a wholesaler. One of the people we supply is Pick and Pay, amongst other companies. We supply Pick and Pay nationally, and we supply some garages. So they're
Oh,
yeah,
Peg and Pay National, that's a big deal.
yeah, it is. I mean, it's a privilege to be able to supply them. So yeah.
That's the reason why I'm looking at you like this. I'm thinking and processing like Pick and Pay. They have those big trucks
Yes.
travel long distances,
Yes.
and you guys are the one who fills them.
Yes, and not only that. I mean, load shedding has stopped now, but when it was load shedding, it was heavy because it's Cape Town. It's all their stores, the generators.
You're also supplying the generators
Yes.
and other companies.
Yes,
So I've been in a point whereby you are getting much orders that you are not able to keep up with the stock that you have.
No, I think you just got to do forward planning. I think you won't disappoint people if you don't overpromise. I think if you do your forward planning, you do your projections, this is happening. And the nice thing about fuel is you're able to plan. Fuel doesn't just disappear. It's in tanks. You can see I'm running low. So you put systems in place where people tell you ahead of time when they get to half, so, and then, yesterday this person was on half. In 3-4 days, they should be on quarter now. Let's allocate for them. So that's generally how that works.
So we know that fuel prices always are getting affected by inflation. They go up every now and then. And if you have a contract to supply to a certain company per annum, how do you work when it comes to pricing? Do the contract entails to say, okay, we are going to supply at this amount because it's this number of liters, gallons, whatever the case may be, or whenever the prices increase, you also increase immediately your pricing to your customers?
That's the nice thing about fuel. It's a worldwide standard, and it's something that's driven by a whole lot of external factors, but also everyone knows. So if the price goes up, you pick up the price to the client immediately, and the client knows how much it goes up by. But likewise, if it goes down, you can't keep selling to the client at the same price. The client knows. So automatically, the client just recalibrates and pays you at the new price.
So you always have to check every day how much the fuel. I mean, okay, because obviously they report in advance that it's going to increase.
Yes, and everyone knows. So I don't even have to tell you. You'll remind me. Next week it's going down.
I know Duduzane Zuma, who's one of your best friends, was born in Matola in Mozambique. He went to Harare in Zimbabwe, there's Angola in the picture, and other countries he lived. Years later, he came back in the country, and that's when you two met. And I think by then he was in his 20s.
Yeah.
And you're also in your 20s. How did you meet with him?
So Duduzane likes fight sports, right? So I also obviously interest in boxing, then it went to MMA. So we'd always meet at tournaments. And then a mutual friend introduced us, and from there, as I say, the rest is history.
Which year was it?
I can't tell you the
Yes. He has went through so many tribulations and trials, and as one of his close friends, if you are at liberty to tell me, what role did you play in his life as a friend? I'm a friend in need. I'm a friend who's going through the most emotionally, psychologically. I need a friend. What role did you play?
When it comes to, the funny part is, I think I drew strength from him, watching how he dealt with the challenges in his life. So you'd think I was the one who supported him, as he was going through his challenges. But I think I drew strength from him, just observing how he dealt with all the challenges and how he navigated, treacherous waters, And as to what I did for him in terms of support, I think he'd be the better one to be, to judge that, because we'd like to think we're supportive and we encouraging, and then someone says, "Well, that's why."
I think that's a fair one, from the person who received services, to express how he felt and how impacted it was to him. Yeah. That's a fair one. When Duduzane came in the country during COVID for his family business attendance, you were also there for him, and that's when you guys decided to say, okay, let's form a political party. What was the real initial motivation behind you guys forming political party called All Game Changers?
The truth about that was, I was the one who had said to Duduzane, your country needs it. I was the one who had said to Duduzane, you have exceptional skills that the country would need. Duduzane is a unifier. If you look at Duduzane's ambit of influence, his friends around him, the one thing you'll notice is that they're very diverse. Duduzane has black friends, he has white friends, he has Indian friends, he has colored friends. So by design, according to him, he has a very broad spectrum of friends. So I saw him as a unifier. Like, he's not someone that would keep the country on the trajectory. Because if you look at the negative leadership styles in the political spectrum right now, there's a very, what I would call, an asinine way that some leaders deal with political engagements. Very narrow, very us and them, and we don't want these, and these must go, these must come, those are like that. And dealing with such a diverse country as ours, I would put it to you that you need a unifier. You need someone that makes every stakeholder, every South African feel like, I have a future if this guy comes into power. I have a vested interest, not a polarizing figure where they've come in, we are finished. Let's wait for his tenure to be up, then we can push our own agenda. No, there's only one agenda, and that's the South African agenda, with all of its diversity. And I feel like Duduzane exemplifies a diverse, broad, rich type of heritage, and he can pull all of us together. So that was the driving force to Duduzane. You need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do. And why I say that, I don't say it from an arrogant position, hey, beating my chest, I told him no. I say it from a position that clarifies, because people think, how entitled? Oh, he's so entitled, he thinks because his father is president, he should be a leader or he should be president. No, he wasn't even thinking about that. It was a need that I saw, that we need this guy. And when I started to echo that, or say that out aloud, many people started to echo that sentiment. And many young people, latched onto that, and the chorus grew louder. So I always say this, and I like to clarify that I say it with the view that I don't want people to think that, no, Duduzane is so entitled, he thinks naturally because his father was a president, he is birthright. No, he was not thinking about that. We went to him, and it took time to convince him.
When you say we, who is we?
When I say we, obviously, I'm saying it in the pretext or in the context that says, you speak to people and you say, am I imagining, or does this guy really have? And then people say, no.
You're not having hallucinations.
You know what I mean? Like, yes, no, this guy really. So then you go and you sit down and you have the discussion. And then maybe you by yourself is not good enough. You say, okay, don't believe me. Let's bring more people. And people put forward their view that no, so we, in that context, that yes, we spoke to lots of people who helped me put forward the point that, Duduzane, you have to do this.
Who is funding AGC? Reason why I'm asking that, there's a perspective in the political space to say, if you are funded by these individuals, it means they want to put a certain agenda, and they see you as a tool that they can use to be able to push that agenda.
So yes, AGC is funded organically. Different people from different corners of South Africa, some funded by rolling their sleeves up and putting in their time and their work. Some funded by saying, I don't have much, here's a 10 rand, let's go and buy a few bricks for this house we can build. Some funded by saying, listen, here's some food parcels we can donate. But let's be clear. Everyone has an agenda and should have an agenda. Us as young people wanting Duduzane to be president is because we feel that young people will have a seat at the table. Young people will have jobs. Young people will be represented with a fresh perspective and a new mindset. So yes, we have an agenda. It's foolish to think that people are going to go towards something that doesn't serve their interests. When South Africans vote for you, they have an agenda. Whether it's job creation, whether it's cost of living, whether it's what you represent. So we need to move away from the thinking that says, no. We cannot be involved in certain politics, or we cannot be involved with getting stakeholders to donate or investment, or we cannot be involved with anything to do with government. That doesn't make sense. This is our government. It represents us. It is us. We should be involved with social responsibility. We should be involved with doing things with partnering government. Today, a tender is a swear word. Why? We should be involved in tenders and other projects with government. They can't only be for a select few, And one of the things that AGC said, let's get blockchain involved. Let's get systems where the system aggregates who gets the tender. The system aggregates allocation of tenders, checking your compliance, checking if you're meeting your deadlines. So that we take the human involvement out and let South Africa start to work. Now there's this whole stigma around anything to do with government. If a government official comes, you must run away. You mustn't be seen with him. If a government official comes to talk to community about community work, you mustn't be seen with. How are you going to build a country if there's such this dark cloud around being able to contribute to your country? No. Guys, it's South Africa in competition with the rest of the world. And our rugby team has shown that. It's shown that all South Africans working together with the diversity, with its fresh ideas, can cultivate a new ethos, can shape a new future for South Africa. So if we take that model and say, here we go. All South Africans, let's get together. Let's have the best of breed. Let's select the best people for the job and let's get going. I think South Africa will go to the next level.
So say you want to tell me that I know Duduzane has a relationship with a whole lot of people, like you mentioned, from different race, Chinese, Indians, black, whites, colored. I want to say that the Guptas are not funding AGC and the Dubai is not also funding AGC.
I definitely know that the Guptas are not funding AGC. Absolutely. Because I know Duduzane doesn't have a relationship with the Guptas. And in terms of any other funding, I just said there's a whole lot of people involved in AGC organically. So you can even be a funder of AGC.
With what money?
No, because the 10 rand you have will make a difference. You see, we have to change this mindset that says everything has to be big, or I'm too small to make an impact, no. South Africans can make an impact at whatever level.
AGC has started what others may call it a political campaign for Duduzane Zuma, whereby you as AGC, I'm not saying you personally, you as AGC, you reach out to the communities to do cleanup campaigns. If there's a pothole, you repair. If the light is no longer working, you do it. You are not reporting to the mayor, you do it yourself. What was the initiation all about?
The thinking was we need to stop waiting, the attitude of waiting, or the attitude that someone else is paid to do this, or someone needs to come save us, or,
obliged.
Yes, no. People will help you because they find you on the way. People see, this is good. Let me get involved. But you can't be waiting. Why aren't you starting? No. We're waiting for, you see. So AGC's approach was one of rolling up your sleeves and getting involved, getting started. So that was the thinking behind that.
I don't know about KZN, but I voted on the 29th of May in Joburg at Metro Center in Braamfontein. And I did not see Duduzane Zuma's face on the national ballot. Was he only on the provincial level, or he didn't make it to the ballot paper?
No, I think there was some, I would call, nefarious activity, and I think it was a bit of skullduggery in trying to get AGC off the ballot. Why? Because I think people were already dealing with the fact that there's MK. Now you got MK and AGC.
They're all from the Zuma family.
And I think the IEC caught us on a technicality. They let us know last minute when we were asking them for if they required any other information. And it was, the excuse they gave us was, you didn't have a leadership structure for provinces. We said, no, the same leadership structure will cascade downwards. They said, yeah, but it doesn't work like that. We said, but we've been asking you for 2 weeks. Is there any other thing you require? So we gave them a leadership structure, for national and province. They said, yes, but you didn't add one for regional. We said, we didn't know that it was compulsory. He said, okay, it is compulsory. So next time.
You're about to vote now.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we said, okay, we'll put it in now. They said, no, it's too late. He said, but you're telling us now. I said, yes, it's not our job to tell you. So I think that was a technicality, but we didn't want to fight about it because our thinking is simple. The country needs change. It's not us imposing ourselves on you. You as a country, you need a fresh perspective. People are tired of what's been going on. People are desperate for something different. And we believe as AGC, we're here to offer ourselves, to offer our services, to offer ourselves as human capital, to offer ourselves as an extra resource, and to add value. Like you said, Duduzane has the reach, he has the resources, he has the network. Why would you not want to use that? And he's not coming with a negative attitude that, I don't want to work with this party or that party, or I'm fighting with this one. No, this is about the country. Let's just focus on the country.
Can you assure us as citizens that if Duduzane Zuma through AGC make it to the ballot in the next coming election, which will be in the next 4 years, and he wins, he becomes the president, can you assure us that he won't take steps or measures to try and retaliate what was done to him? Some might be considered that he was targeted through everything that he went through. Won't he take retaliation steps against the people that he feels may have taken measures against him?
My brother, the best revenge you can have for anyone who's taken negative steps against you is make a success of whatever it is you are doing. That is the best revenge. So I can promise you, Duduzane will be successful and he will exceed everyone's expectations in delivering, in being one of the best presidents this country has ever seen. And that's revenge in itself. Anything over and above that, he won't even waste his time. I know the personality. He doesn't give things oxygen that don't serve his interest or serve society at large.
We have spoken about so many things, and I wish like time can allow us, but it doesn't allow us. In closing, a lot is happening in the country. A lot has happened, and as AGC, in trying to summarize your whole manifesto and things that you want to see AGC achieving, in summary of the whole thing, what is the main thing that AGC passionately wants to see it happening or wants to achieve and hopes to achieve?
A united South Africa, because when we divided, we undercut and sabotage ourselves. When we are divided, we use media, we use state resources, we use criminology, we use all these kinds of things to sabotage ourselves. We send bad messages, we send the wrong kind of ethos and image abroad. It's us who sabotage ourselves. South Africans go and say, oh, don't go to South Africa, the crime is bad. You understand?
That's your country.
That's your country.
You want investors to come. You want tourists to come.
How are you going to do that? Because South Africans say, oh, don't do that. They are killing farmers. You understand? Yeah. South Africans do that. When we say things like, no, one farmer, one bullet. What message are we sending? When we say things like, no, they must leave. Why? Who is they? Does they have a color? Does that? Because yes, we understand that people who've come in illegally must go through the right channels like any other country. But when you start targeting people, it doesn't look right.
So AGC will never be associated with xenophobic practices.
Okay, tell me one xenophobic practice that targeted white people. I'm not saying it should. I'm saying it's bad.
I've never heard of one.
Thank you. So xenophobia is evil because it's against ourselves. And it's anti-black. So it's very scary because xenophobia doesn't target any other race group. It's only black people fighting against black people.
One thing I told myself, it's a decision I made a few years ago, to say I don't want to associate myself in activities that are trying to tarnish a black man's image, that are trying to bring him down or tear him down. Activities that are negative, I won't be associated myself. I won't make comments that are contributing to such activities. I just wanna. I will see people doing it, but I'm not associating myself with. I want to distance myself, and I will never be a whiner, complain 100%. About things. I don't want to be negative. I just want to be optimistic, even when things are not looking as I want them to. So, if you are saying that, it's a good thing to hear. But we will see as time goes on, because politics are politics. We'll see what AGC stands, what AGC believes. I think now AGC is still fresh, a baby. As time goes on, gets matured along the way.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. They say that the proof is in the pudding, is in the tasting, or something like that, right? So yeah, I think over time it all comes out in the wash. Everything will reveal itself. But we're quietly optimistic that we are on the right trajectory. Yeah.
AGC will never be alive, or maybe AGC as time goes on go with MK become.
My brother, if you notice what AGC has always said, that AGC will align itself with anyone who wants to build South Africa. So we don't even, when we do a project, if we're building a house, we don't even ask you who you're voting for. If we say it's a cleanup campaign, you can be from MK, you can be from EFF, you can be from DA. Are you a South African and you want to clean and you want to help and you want to contribute? Let's go. This thing of trying to segregate people, and if you believe you're on the right track, you shouldn't want to exclude other people, because when they interact with you, they'll see, no, this is the right way. You know? So our ethos is not focused on anyone. It's focused on South Africa as a country. So AGC might well partner with MK.
Or EFF or ANC.
100%. Because the country at the end of the day needs us. Not our egos, not our T-shirts, not what color our T-shirts are, not what the country needs us. And if we work together, we can build this country.
Sir, thank you so much for making time to come here and talk to me. I don't take it lightly. You have a very, very hectic schedule. And having time to talk to a young man like myself, Duduzane Zuma reprimanded me or something I wanted to say. But thank you so much, sir. You are, some of us are inspired by you as an individual, things that you have achieved, things that you are doing. And some of us, we are inspired despite, I'm about positivity, I'm about impact, despite of what other people think or says. If I believe in something, I stand by it. And in saying that, I'm inspired by some of the work that AGC is doing. Clean up campaign, keep our neighborhood clean, keep them good, keep the lights on. If I am able to do this, okay, let's do it. We don't need to stay here and complaining and saying so and so is doing it. And saying that, say, I wish you all the best as AGC and everyone involved in it, the new members. I want every political party to grow.